Hi guys, thank you so much for watching and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you a couple of trash to treasure Easter DIYs. This will be one of my last few videos that I do for Easter. Now these DIYs you can use indoors or outdoors, so let's get started. So because my front porch is not covered, I will be using this little sign on my indoor decor. So if you've watched my previous videos, I got the scrap piece of wood. I got a whole bunch of little scrap pieces of wood like this, so I'm going to use this for my sign. I sanded it just lightly on the sides so that I wouldn't get splinters. It's about 12 inches long, and I'm going to be painting it white in the Rust-Oleum chalked linen white. I do like to do my signs double-sided, so I don't paint the other side until I figure out what I'm using it for. So I might use it at Christmas time or in the summertime. It just really depends. But I do like to reuse them, and that kind of saves on how much stuff I have, as well as if I've purchased them, it kind of saves on money as well. This is going to be a really simple sign. I'm going to just paint it out. I'm going to use my Cricut to cut out the words bunny trail as well as an arrow. Now I'm using the lemon font for the words, and then I'm just using a simple arrow. And I am going to cut it out on some stencil vinyl, and then I will just dab on some black acrylic paint. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit just because you don't need to watch that in detail, but just so you know the materials and steps I'm doing. So just before I stencil in the words, I am actually just going to distress the sign as well using that black acrylic paint, and I do this by just dry brushing the edges a little bit darker and then lightly dry brushing the middle of the sign. So I'm not very good at using fine tip brushes to correct any kind of paint that needs to be corrected. So usually I just wind up using a Sharpie. So for this, I'm just using a black Sharpie to fix that R a little bit. So here's the finished product. I think it looks really, really cute. It's going to go great in my Easter decor. So if you thought that one was simple, this one is also really simple. And this DIY you can use indoors or outdoors. It just depends. I will be using this one outdoors, and I'm just drawing on a piece of paper a bunny. I'm just freehand drawing one that my husband will be cutting out. I could have used my Cricut, but I decided to just freehand draw it and see how it turns out. Sometimes I like to do that. And I do wind up making it a little bit bigger because I decided that it's too small. But I'll give this to him, and then we'll cut it out. Like, I'll cut it out for him, and then he'll use that to trace around a piece of plywood, and then he'll cut it out for me. I'm not too good with that kind of cutting. It makes me a little bit nervous, so he does that for me. And the plywood that we're using is just scrap plywood that we had lying around. So as you can see, is the chick, the bunny, and then I also had him just cut an egg shape, which I didn't draw for him. He just freehand drew it for himself. And I'm going to be painting these. As you can see, the plywood is quite dirty. It's, like I said, it's just scrap. And I'm going to be painting all, well, the chick and the bunny out in the Rust-Oleum chalk linen white. I contemplated painting the chicken, you know, kind of like a yellowish orange, but I decided on the white because I wanted it to have that kind of rustic farmhousey look. So the egg's going to be my pop of color, and I have kind of 3 pots that I'm going to be putting these in. So the middle pot will be the pop of color, and I'm just using some acrylic paint. So I'm using the blue and a pink and a green acrylic paint. They are all from the Dollar Tree, and I am just going down and just kind of eyeballing how I want it to be and painting different stripes. For the last one, I'm using the darker green, and I'm just mixing it in with all of the colors and using that as my bottom. And then I put a little bit of blue over top just because it kind of was too big of a chunk. Once these dry, you guessed it, I'm going to distress them because I love to distress everything. So I'm going to be using for the bunny some espresso acrylic paint. But I do have a little bit of black on the brush still, so it winds up being a little bit blackish brown, which is okay. Anytime lately, like I would say in the last few months, that I've been doing kind of painting wood, I like to blend everything in with a wet wipe. So that's what you'll see me doing here as well. I then go ahead and I add lines as well onto the egg, and then I distress all of it, and then I draw faces on the bunny and the chick. And just very simple nose and some whiskers, and then just eyes and a triangle for the nose. So now I'm just placing these garden picks at the bottom of the chick, the bunny, and the egg, and I'm just gluing them with wood glue. Normally I would use a combination of wood glue and hot glue, but my hot glue gun broke and the new one still hasn't arrived from Amazon, so I'm just patiently waiting. And I'll just put something heavy on top of here and leave it overnight. And then I'm adding arms to the chick, and I'm just using some burlap that I've cut into the shape of like little arms for the chick, and I'm just stapling it to the sides, and that's about it. And here they are, all 3 of them finished, and this is what they look like in the baskets. So just really quickly, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you're brand new, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. On my channel, you can see all sorts of budget-friendly DIYs, trash to treasures, thrift flips, furniture flips, dollar store DIYs, basically any kind of home decor DIY things I try to do on this on a budget, and I do it on this channel. If you want to see how I put these things together and where I place them in my home, you need to check out my Vesna TV home channel. And there I do some renovations and home tours and tier tray decor and all sorts of stuff like that. And then I also have a cooking channel, which is self-explanatory. Now, the home channel and cooking channel, I don't post as often as I do on my DIY channel, but I do let you guys know when I have a new video out. So, you know, if you hit that notification bell and you subscribe, you'll know on your own. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Leave me a comment below. Let me know you subscribed. I'd love to hear from you. And hit that notification bell so you can see all of my new videos. Would love it if you subscribe to all 3 channels, but subscribe to what interests you. Thank you so much. And let's do the last DIY. So I told you at the beginning of the video, I like to reuse my signs and you leave them double-sided and all that stuff. So this is what I'm doing with this one. I made these snowmen and I can link the video here for Christmas time and winter decor, and it's just my snowman family. I've taken their noses out because I didn't want them getting ruined. The noses were just sticks, but I didn't want them getting lost. And I'm just going to be painting the other side of these in the chalked Rust-Oleum linen white. And I'm going to be making bunnies. I thought about doing this front and making this a bunny face, but I didn't know how to do it without painting over the mouth, so I'm not going to do that. I'll just use the other side. So while those guys are drying, I used this burlap ribbon from Michaels. It was on clearance, so I bought a couple different colors. And I like it because it's the wired burlap ribbon, so you can use it for, to give a little bit of shape to the ears. And I'm going to be using two blue ones for the little kid bunnies, and then a green one for the daddy bunny and a pink one for the mommy bunny. And I'm just cutting them to the size that I want them, and then I will be putting them together. You'll see I made kind of a mistake because I cut them down, not realizing that the sides, I needed to keep the sides because of the where the wire was, but I quickly changed that after, so I wind up just kind of wasting 2 little pieces of burlap. But I mean, I don't waste them, I just keep them and I'll use them for the next DIY. So I wind up just making little triangles for all of them up at the top, and my bunny ears are ready to go. So before I start assembling the face or screwing in or drawing in the nose or any of that stuff, I want to go ahead and just kind of see where I want to put my ears. I want them to be down, sitting a little bit below the top of the post, and this is because I want to keep these for the season and then reuse my other ones and just put a hat on so you don't see the bunny ears. So I didn't want them to be too high, and I just attach the bunny ears, kind of put them one on top of the other, fold them back, and then I create like a little lump and I screw in a screw, and then I go back and I just staple gun a little bit of it as well, just so that way they stay in place a little bit better in case the wind blows. So once I have my ears on there, I go ahead and just kind of measure out where I want to, like eyeball where I want to put my nose. And I just drill holes into the part where the nose would be. And I'm using just little wooden beads for the nose. And I'm using the same color for all of them. And I will be then using some wood glue and just popping them in there. Hopefully that works. It'll have to do, like I said, until I get my hot glue gun. Originally, I was going to put some bows at the top of the bunnies, but then I decided that I want the bows at the bottom, and I'll have to repaint. I kind of did a mock drawing of the bunny face, but I didn't like the way I did the eyes. And then when I realized I didn't want to use that bow and it wasn't going to cover it, I wound up repainting the face a little bit so that I could just draw on the eyes a little bit lower and a little bit better. For the ribbon, I'm just making little bows out of a ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's their Easter themed ribbon, and I am then staple gunning it to the bunny form itself, and this way it'll stay kind of a little bit more permanent. It gets quite windy on my porch. I know that sounds funny, but it gets quite windy, so things tend to fly off, so I do have to double secure it. And then while I'm doing that, I attach the noses with the hot glue. not hot glue, sorry, wood glue. And I'm also doing the bows for all of the boys. I'm doing the same color of bow, which is this blue bow. And then for the girl bunny, I'm using this striped ribbon from the Dollar Tree. For the mummy bunny, I'm putting the bow at the top, and then I'm just drawing in the eyes and the face. I used a Sharpie to draw all of them in, and then I am painting over them with some black just to make it stick out a little bit more. And then you'll see me doing some corrections, which that's the great thing about paint. If you mess up, then you can easily just repaint it and start over. So here they are all finished. Now I will be adding a little bit more decor to them. So if you want to see the full tour, I thought I would have my Easter tour ready by some point this week, but I've decided that I'm going to add the front porch decor as well. So it'll probably likely be this weekend that I have the Easter home tour, including the porch, where I'll stage these guys a little bit nicer. And that's what it'll stay like until Easter. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you really enjoyed this. There'll be a new video out on Sunday where I do my final decorations for Easter. So I hope you can join me then as well. And thank you so much for stopping by. And again, if you haven't commented on the carrot theme DIY video, please leave a comment for a chance to win a prize. Thank you so much. Have a great day and stay safe.